I told myself it was only a test. If he rushed to me, if he held on and promised he would never leave, then I could finally stop feeling scared. That is how I excused the first lie I ever told about my own body. I wrote the message with shaking hands. They found something, it might be serious. I stared at the typing dots like they were a life raft for a love I had been pulling under. Mark replied in seconds. Where are you? I'm coming. He left a meeting, grabbed his jacket, and showed up in the parking lot of the urgent care I picked because it looked plain and private. He wrapped me up and called me baby in a voice I had not heard in months. I felt warm and sick at the same time. We had been together 3 years. Mark is not dramatic. He is gentle, steady, and useful in 100 small ways. He changes the oil in his own car, keeps spare batteries in the drawer, and knows my mom's favorite flowers without asking. Somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing the good. I scrolled through videos that said if a man does not shout his love, then it is not real. I believed strangers more than the man who made soup when I had a cold. The truth is I had headaches from staring at a screen all day. That is it. I took that honest stub of discomfort and dressed it up as a crisis. I told Mark the scan showed a spot. I said the doctor needed more tests. I used the soft voice of someone who is trying to be brave. He squeezed my hand. We will get answers. I nodded and looked at the ground because I could not look him in the face while I did this. Once you start a lie like that, everything in your life rearranges itself to keep it standing. I googled symptoms and memorized them. I bought a head wrap and wore it on bad hair days so people would feel sorry for me. My boss told me to take whatever time I needed. My mother sent recipes and long prayers by text. I watched it all build and told myself that any day now I would tell the truth and it would not be so bad. Mark kept showing up. He made lists. He called my insurance. He sat on the floor by the bed at night and rubbed my ankle because the rest of me hurt too much to touch. He cried in the shower where he thought I could not hear. In the face of that kind of love, a good person would have stopped. I did not stop. I told myself I needed one more day to be sure he really meant it. The first crack came when he asked for the doctor's name. He wanted to fax work forms and make everything official. I said the clinic was moving me to a research partner. He believed me. The second crack came when his dad, a straight shooter, offered to call a specialist he knew. I promised to get the number and then avoided the subject until it slid from the table like a glass. I set a date that would force the story to a head. Tuesday. Big hospital. Final results. Mark took the day off and drove us there before sunrise. He sat with me under fake trees in the atrium while I pretended to check in at a kiosk. I walked upstairs and bought a mug that said brave in block letters. I hated myself for liking the way it looked in my hand. My mother called the hospital to ask about visitor passes. She can charm anyone behind glass. She could not charm the computer. They had no record of me. She tried another department. Still nothing. She called Mark, her voice shaking. He found me by the fountain and put her on speaker. Can you ask the desk to confirm your appointment? He said. My mouth went dry. We went to the counter together. The clerk typed, smiled, and asked for my ID. She typed again. I am not seeing an appointment for you, she said. Have you been here before? No, I said, because I could not reach for another lie fast enough. She clicked a few more times and said she was sorry. Mark thanked her and led me away by the elbow like I was a person he still trusted, and that made it worse. He did not yell in the lobby. He found a quiet corner near the vending machines and asked me to tell him the truth. His voice was so soft it felt like a hand on the back of my neck. I tried to stack excuses on top of excuses, but they slid off. The truth came out like broken glass. I was scared. I wanted to know you would not leave. I wanted proof I could hold. I said it all in a rush because I wanted the pain to end. He sat very still. He looked at the floor for a long time. Then he asked if I understood what I had done to him, to our families, to the people at work who had covered my hours, to my mother who had been planning where to put a cot by our couch. I said yes. It sounded weak, even to me. He nodded once. I will take you home, he said. Then I am packing a bag. He did not take me home. He called a ride for me and said he needed to walk. He came by later with a small duffel and a list of bills. I am staying at my brother's, he said. Please do not call my parents. I will handle the calls. I begged. I cried. I promised therapy and clean truth and better days. He did not argue. He moved his shoes from the closet and left his key on the counter. I tried to manage the story, because managing stories is how I lived for too long. My friend Talia told me to go dark and wait. It will blow over, she said. It did not blow over. Mark told the truth once, simply. She lied about being sick. I am stepping away. He did not post screenshots. He did not trash me. He did not try to hurt me more than I had already hurt myself. People followed his lead. They went quiet. Work called me into HR. The woman across the table had kind eyes and a file with printed emails where I had asked for treatment days. She read our policy on fraud and leave. She handed me a packet with mental health resources and said they could not keep my role open. I walked out with a box of plants and pens and the Brave mug wrapped in a sweater. In the lobby I saw Mark's cousin. She turned her head. The shame was not instant. I wish it had been. For a week, I argued with an empty chair. I wrote down lines I thought might move him. It was a cry for help. I only went this far because I love you. People fake worse things. That last sentence was poison. When I wrote it, I understood I was still trying to win. I threw it away and sat in the quiet of my apartment until the sun moved across the wall. Mark moved the rest of his things on a Sunday. He took the drill, the toolbox, the set of warranty papers he keeps like a librarian. He left the couch, the bed, and the mug I could not look at anymore. He muted my number, which is a special kind of silence. Messages go out and vanish. The last one I sent said I am sorry in a way I do not know how to measure. He did not reply, and I stopped making him carry what I had broken. I started therapy because there was nothing left to try. My therapist did not tell me I am secretly good. She asked me why I think love is proof, not practice. I told her my father left when I was 12 and no one said the word divorce. I told her about the sting I feel when a message is left unread. She nodded and said none of that excuses what I did. Then she asked if I wanted to be different or only to be forgiven. I paid my rent with a temp job and learned to wake up without a shot of panic. I went to my mother's house for dinner and told her the truth again without excuses. She cried and hugged me and said she loves me, and also that love is not protection from consequences. I stopped wearing the head wrap. I donated to a cancer charity because I could not stand the shape of the harm I had made. This is not a neat story. There is no grand speech at the end where he forgives me and carries me over a threshold. I do not get that ending. I get the quiet one I earned. I get a phone that stays still. I get an apartment that no longer smells like his soap. I get the work of making myself into someone who does not test the people she loves. I get a mirror I can look into without flinching on most days. If you are thinking about testing someone the way I did, listen to the smallest honest part of you. A test is just a prettier word for a lie. If you need reassurance, ask. If he leaves because you asked, you will hurt, but you will have your name. If he stays because you lied, you will lose your name and you will not even notice until it is too late. Mark will never read this. He does not need to. He already showed me who he is. He is the kind of man who will fix a pipe, register a car, plan a route, and walk away from a trap without looking back. He did not punish me. He did not perform. He did what steady people do when the ground under them is made of paper. He stepped off, set his life down somewhere firm, and kept going. I am learning, slowly, to tell simple truths.